All right, we'll call the June 22nd, 2026 regular meeting of Peters Township Council to order. Mr. Lauer, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Curry will not be here tonight. Mr. Waldinger?
Here.
Mr. Steigel?
Here.
Mr. Kozer?
Here.
Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Bensay?
Here. Stand for the
Ms.
Pledge of
Shinafeld will
Allegiance.
not be here tonight. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on tonight's agenda is a public hearing regarding an ordinance amending the Peters Township Code of Ordinances, Chapter 440, zoning, Section 406.2, MR, Mixed Residential Overlay District. Mr. Lauer.
So this is a public hearing on an ordinance change. It's been advertised in the Observer Reporter. It's the ordinance itself has also been posted on the township's website. What this ordinance proposes to do is to make changes to zoning regulations in the Mixed Residential Overlay District. Those changes are listed on the screen and include restricting the right-of-way and street construction to the standards provided in the Subdivision and Land Development Ordinance. So what that means is that all streets in this plan would be in a 50-foot right-of-way and the cartways would be 24 foot. It reduces the permitted density from 6 dwellings per acre to 2.5 dwellings per acre. It increases the open space requirement from 10% to 30%. It eliminates multifamily housing as a permitted use. It provides for 3 styles of detached single-family houses as permitted use, and 2 of these vary based upon lot size, and the third permitted single-family home are patio homes. And within the ordinance, there is a definition of patio homes. It increases the side yard setbacks. It reduces the lot coverage maximums, and it establishes minimum lot sizes. And it's our belief that these changes are consistent with the existing comprehensive plan adopted by council on December 9th, 2013. So with that, I don't know if you have any questions with regard to the ordinance itself.
Any questions from council? No. Any comments from the audience? Come on up.
Yeah, I didn't swear.
Yeah, I know. Is there anyone else who intends to testify?
Just one.
Okay, so before we let her write her name.
Oh, you want me to?
You're
I'm sorry.
gonna have to take the oath, but I just want to make sure, if there's anybody else who intends to testify, we're asking you to take the oath at the same time.
Okay.
Please, good.
Oh, sure. Let me put this down, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go to the microphone. Just go to the microphone.
5 minutes, is that
Yep.
correct? It won't even
You
be
got-
5
you-
minutes.
You state your name and address.
Sure. Robin Hicks, 236 Maid Marian Lane. So I looked at the 30-page document, and I was interested because I saw the Observer Reporter article where there was going to be allowances for cell towers. And so I found out, I think it was page 5-6, I have it on my phone. But in any event, I'm a retired engineer, worked 30 years in Pentagon, and so this is an area I'm very familiar with. And so what I did was I sat down and started looking at the proposal. And first and foremost, I was really surprised about the schools, because it had 2 particular schools, the middle school and the elementary school, in the article as being
But
sites.
this zoning change has nothing to do with that.
Well, I called and spoke to the engineering department, and they did say that, but the article where the township manager was interviewed, he said the exact opposite.
Well,
So
I'm the
that's-
township manager,
Okay.
and
So-
this
Very
ordinance.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This ordinance has to do with a zoning change that is for residential developments in areas that are zoned mixed residential. It has nothing to do with cell towers. There
But it
will
says
be an
that-
ordinance.
It
well,
says that in your
let me finish.
posted
But
paper,
there-
though.
No, hold on. There will be an ordinance with regard to cell towers, but that is coming at a later date. The same process will be followed because it's a change to the zoning ordinance. And at that time, we'll be taking public input with regard to changes.
Okay, it is, just so you know, it is on page 5-6, and it lists the telecommunication towers, and that was the one that was posted for today.
No.
So that's why
No.
I'm here. It isn't, I can read it.
Oh, no, I,
Oh, okay.
whatever you're saying, but that is not what's under consideration tonight. There will be, at some point in the future, a zoning change to deals with
No, I know
cell
there'll be a
towers.
zoning change, but the whole topic was this particular
No.
public notice.
No,
So you're excluding part of the document that you posted for people tonight to talk about?
no, there
I'm
should
not
only be
following.
posted.
I think maybe the confusion comes from the fact that there is a section of the ordinance where it talks about permitted uses, and one of those permitted uses is new towers in the right of way, which is being removed as a permitted use in the zoning district. So that in terms of wireless communication facilities is the only item that's changing from what we already have, in relation to those cell towers.
Let me pull it. I'm not sure I understand what you just said. I need to get my glasses. But if you pull up at the bottom of page 6 of your post of what's being discussed tonight, it has commercial wireless communication facilities. Bottom of
post-
page 5,
I'm
excuse
not sure
me.
what post you're referring to. What,
Sorry?
I'm not sure what post you're referring to.
It's on the bottom of your website.
Okay.
Right, and it's the post for discussion tonight. It's the official document. This is the ordinance that you're talking about right here. It has all these things in it. So I'm not sure where the confusion is, but it is posted. Trust me, I wouldn't waste my time and come here. I have more important things to do than come here for the rest of
Is that under
it.
the public notices section?
Okay, let me pull it up, peterstownship.com. Yeah, under the public notice for tonight's hearing.
Okay.
Proposed ordinance, June 22nd, public hearing PDF. It's right at the bottom of it for tonight's hearing.
What page did you say it's on?
Bottom of page 5, and it's on page 6.
This is what you were talking about, Mark? That is what you're looking at, what you're referencing. This
Yeah, so it looks like that's what's
table is just saying what would be allowed and
That's
what
the
wouldn't be
current-
allowed.
That's currently there, nothing's changing right now.
That-
Okay.
It shows it as an allowed
Well, that's a
use.
problem, it should come out.
Why should it come out?
Well, I mean, my time's up at this point, but I
No, no,
assume
that's
all
I
right.
can
Go ahead.
answer his
Go
question.
ahead.
Okay. My view, okay, and again, I had to study this for the Pentagon before people knew what 5G was, okay? So, as an engineer, what I did was I took a look at this. I used to be a skeptic. In fact, my best friend worried about cell towers when I lived in DC, and I told her, don't worry about it. The research right now, my view, and what I briefed, and this is not the Pentagon position, I'm not allowed to say that, just a retired engineer that worked for the Secretary of Defense. It's not good. When you look at cell towers for 5G, and what I did today, I took a couple hours and looked at scenarios of those schools and the housing on where we are in Maid Marian is brand new, and I calculated out the power density. And I had some former employees from the top energy lab in the United States, Lawrence Livermore National Lab, sent it to them too. When you look at it, people get confused, and this is what I used to brief in the Pentagon. they get confused because if you're a physicist or an engineer, you know that the way you calculate power density is the further I go away from the tower, it radically drops. So you're super safe if you can be here and then 2 streets over and you're not impacted. But if you're 1 street over, you get a lot of EMF, a lot of radiation. And right now, you can read studies from both sides, and the industry on both sides will fund studies to say what they want. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at where we are on our street, I was kind of alarmed because we are in a 0.2 mile as the crow flies, and that power density that I calculated out would put us at a severe risk for radiation. Now, what does the radiation cause? It can cause all kinds of effects, especially on children. Okay, it's extremely harmful to them. So putting them on schools, I was just astounded, as was, my old team. But it can cause cancers. Now, you might say, well, I can bring in another engineer that says it doesn't. But if we're not sure, right, and I can give you research on both sides, why not err on the side of caution with people and children? I personally had 2 breast cancers. So I can tell you, you don't want to go through it, and I'm sure a lot of people in this room have experienced that. So then the FCC. Well, I worked with the FCC quite a bit in my job. The FCC, their guidance is like 30 years old. Their guidance doesn't take into effect what we call non-thermal effects. So everybody worries about the heating of tissues. We develop weapons, that's what I used to do, that heat tissues and kill people. We saw in the news recently. But there's a lot of evidence that even non-heating, non-thermal effects of radiation are very dangerous. And so that's why I think that will plummet the home values. I'm not spreading this around my community. I wanted to talk to you guys first, but there's a couple other people in the community that I will talk to that are engineers that won't panic. But, I told my husband today, we're gonna talk about moving if this goes through. And I think the children, I saw there was an online petition. I didn't have time to look at it, but I just saw the homepage. I think it's very dangerous to put in schools. Most places are not even going close to schools. I mean, most countries wouldn't allow it. And then the only other thing I would say that I plan to say tonight was, in 2021, the European Parliament had a report out that classified, these frequencies as likely carcinogenic. And then there's another group, and it's under the WHO, not my favorite group, but they're the International Agency for Research on Cancer. And they did a whole analysis on it, and they called it a group 2B possible carcinogen. They said based on the current evidence today, they would list it as a proven human carcinogen. So anyway, I think it's a big mistake to put them on those schools for the kids, and I think it's a big mistake for, the people that live near there. So, and that's all I wanted to say. And thank you for your
clarity,
time. Yeah,
Thank you for your
sure.
comments.
The school board already turned down putting
Well,
cell
and
towers on
just-
their property, right? And we're just, the whole point of the next, of this is to be able to remove that from the overlay, right?
No, this is, what's in front of you tonight is simply a change to the regulations in a residential zoning district. And it has to do with the items that I've listed there. The standards of roadways, the number of dwellings per acre, the amount of open space. Council's asked us to come back with a change to the zoning ordinance that has to do with the erection of cell towers. That's not this ordinance. That's not this ordinance.
And what we're seeing on here is just that it is, right now, we're not changing it, it is allowable, but with
Yeah.
administrative review. That's what this says, right?
If you look on page 5, yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
there's not a
worries.
change, there's no
Right.
change there. That change will be in
Right.
the future.
That would be a
So
separate change.
What you're asking for will be addressed in the,
And a future change to the zoning ordinance,
But not this one.
right.
not this one.
Okay.
So obviously, we appreciate your feedback and
So
your
do we
comments.
have to, should I come back when you have the table, is what you're saying? At that
Well,
time?
this,
or-
It's just a
they need to
different-
take action on this
It's
tonight.
a different change.
There will be a different
Yeah,
thing.
right.
It will be just like this. It will be publicized, and the public will have a chance to comment on it.
Okay,
Okay?
So we'll
All
look
right.
forward to seeing
So
you.
feel free to
again.
come back to that one.
Okay,
And that'd
thank
be
you.
maybe more
Okay.
relevant.
You probably won't be alone.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the audience who wishes to testify? I get a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. 5-0, Mr. Lauer. Thank the court reporter for her service. You can go enjoy the rest of your night now. Next item is the special reports, Parks and Recreation Board report. Mr. Brooks.
Hello, David Brooks, Director of Parks and Recreation. With me tonight, I have our Chair of our Parks and Recreation Board, Mr. Jeff Kermy. And Jeff's going to give you an update on what's been taking place with the board. Then I can talk about some upcoming events that will be taking place here.
Good evening, Joe.
Good evening. First item, in January, we held our reorganization meeting where I was re-elected as chairperson and K.D. Doyle was elected as vice chairperson. We held two of our biggest and most popular events, the Mother-Son Glow Night and the Princess Ball. Both of these events are very popular. They sell out within minutes of going online, and both of them were huge successes, as they are every year. The Peters Township Basketball Association conducted their holiday basketball tournament. This consisted of 90 teams, both of boys and girls, grades 3 through 8. There was a slight issue with some power outages at the school facilities, which were quickly resolved both with the school and with the flexibility of playing early at the rec center. The Recreational Facilities Coordinator, Ian Sopko, is now a Certified Playground Safety Inspector, CPSI. He achieved this by completing a very rigorous testing process. He is now certified to inspect all township-owned playgrounds equipment. Field 1 in the Peters Township Park had a new scoreboard installed. This was approved by council in February and installed in April. And according to the scoreboard operator, he's madly in love with it. On Field 2, we had the new batting cages installed. This was paid for by the Baseball Association. Mandated reporter training. This training is required for all staff that come into contact with children. In the past, this training has been done by taking a 3-hour online course. This training will now be taught by the Peters Township Police Department social worker. We are also going to discuss this training at our upcoming Sports Association President's Alliance meeting about having, at a minimum, all the presidents go through this training and to see how we get as many of the volunteers and coaches to attend this training as well. There was a grant awarded in the amount of $20,000 for the construction of an ADA kayak ramp in the Peters Township Lake Park. The total for the project is $56,000, and it is included in the 5-year capital improvement plan. The Aqua Park. There were gates installed on both the entrance and exits of the parking lot to keep people out of that area in the off-season. The gates are then opened when the season starts to allow for easy entrance and exit. There was a new shade structure installed near the toddler area to provide additional shade relief up in the toddler section of the park. In March, we discovered some faulty switches in the park. The company Vortex was contacted. They did supply replacement switches. Those also failed. Although those switches did work properly in their facility, when they brought them here and installed them, they did not work in our facility. They ordered brand new switches, came in and installed them, and those switches are working properly. We did have a high pressure line valve failure. With that, water sprayed on some electrical boxes, some ceiling tile, and some insulation. The manufacturer took a few days to recreate the situation back at their test facility so that they could properly design the fix. Once they did that, they were on site for 1 day, and they did install the fix for that problem. And that is all I have. Any questions?
Yes, so, I was curious about the certification that Ian talked about.
Yeah.
Is he gonna be able to perform work that we had previously been outsourcing?
Yes, well, that work was done in the past by our Public Works Department.
Mhm.
Then after that, it went to, our town inspectors got certified to do that work. Both of those town inspectors no longer work for the township. So we talked about doing that in-house, and Ian was willing to do that. And part of his position change to a recreation facilities coordinator, we built that into that job description. So Ian's gonna handle that in-house, which is huge for a township to do that. A lot of townships outsource that and pay a contract to have that work done. It's great to have that done in-house.
Good, thank you.
Any other questions from council?
Okay, when I came in today, I put some information in front of you there. That's our schedule of our upcoming events and our community day that's gonna take place this Saturday. So I'll pray for good weather. It looks like rain right now. We wanna be able to get that in. There's about 175 vendors that'll be setting up on Friday and Saturday morning for that event that takes place from 11 to 5. Then that evening, we have fireworks at 9:30. So we're excited about that event. This Wednesday, at the park, we have our farmer's market from 4 to 7. Then we'll have our first concert of the season, starting at 7 o'clock. We have 10 concerts throughout the summer, are very popular. If you go to the amphitheater, which Jeff's there every week, that hillside, it's tough to see grass there. There's so many people there, which is a great activity and a free activity for our residents and patrons of the park. So we're excited to get that up and going. It's our busy time of the year, but we're really excited about everything that's taking place.
Thank you, Mr.
So,
Brooks.
one final note, I would like to publicly commend Dave and the entire Parks and Recreation staff. The programs that they put together, and these concerts, and the farmer's market, and these dances and everything are top-notch. People clamor to get in them. They do a fantastic job, so a round of applause for them and their staff.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, next, move on to the approval of the minutes of the June 8th, 2026 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. 5-0, Mr. Lauer. Next, we move into audience comments. This is the portion of the meeting where anyone from the audience can speak for up to 5 minutes on a non-agenda item. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? Mr. McCarthy, you know the drill.
I do. Hello, my name is John McCarthy of 105 Greenbrier Drive. The past 3 years, I, as a member of the public, made an effort to attend all public meetings of the library director and advisory board. I want to bring up a few things I'm puzzled about. Library board meetings are 7 p.m. the second Tuesday of the month except August. I missed the May meeting because of a work conflict. I did attend the June meeting. Again, I brought up my displeasure to the director and board that they have the option to attend live or remote on Zoom. I, as a member of the public, do not have this luxury. If I can't attend live, I'm out of luck. I think it should be the same for everyone. Either we all have both options, or we all have to be there in person. Between you and me, I've had it with all these Zoom links, so I prefer an in-person rule. I also, again, brought up my idea that attendance should be recorded in the minutes as either present in person or present remote on Zoom. My thoughts were not met with smiles. Explain to me why this is allowed. In past meetings with some of them on screens, I might or I might not be able to see and hear them. In the past, I suggested they adopt name cards so I know who they are and their names. And finally, they voted and adopted name cards. In the past, at least once, I had to tell them they forgot to use their name cards. A record of this should be in past minutes, as I requested the recording secretary to enter my displeasure of not using the name cards into the minutes. Here I need your insight. At the June meeting, they passed out amongst themselves the May meeting minutes. That's the meeting I missed. They voted and approved them. Should they have given copies for the public? Would the May minutes be available to read online before they were approved? What do you think?
I can tell you minutes of meetings are not posted until they are approved because until they're approved, they're not an official record. That's,
Should they have had copies for the public?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to
Paul,
that.
is
We make, the council meeting, our
made
minutes are
available, right?
made
Yeah.
available. before
They're available because we post the docket. But they're not on the website as the approved minutes.
How long is the library board, did that start at COVID, when they started allowing people to participate remotely?
You know what? I don't know that. I didn't realize they were.
They
They
sure
did
take
have people.
advantage of it.
Yeah,
Because,
I
I mean,
don't
it's-
understand why we're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, why, I mean, if we have people lined up to get on these boards.
Right.
I mean, if you wanna be on the board, show up at the meeting. I mean,
If you
I
Thank
can
you.
understand there's like the
Thank you.
exception maybe where somebody's sick or whatever, but the idea that, it's 27 degrees outside and I'd rather,
Right.
sit at home and we all come here in snowstorms and.
I brought this up to them
Rainstorms and everything
year
else,
after
you know?
year after year, and I always get shouted down.
But on the other hand, if they are going to offer a Zoom link or a Teams meeting, I don't see why they shouldn't make it public.
Well, then
You can
they-
invite people and not give them access to speak, you can mute them.
Just to listen, yeah.
Right, just
And
to
it's,
listen in.
elderly people may have a harder time with negotiating a Zoom link and little complications and bugs that come into it. The in-person is better.
Did
I agree.
any of you know that they were
No,
doing this?
I did not. And frankly, if
Really?
they are
We
able
don't
to
know that the
attend
ordinance is
virtually,
following.
I feel like anyone should be able to attend virtually. If we're gonna say you have to
Thank
attend in
you.
person, they all should have to attend in person.
Thank you.
Do we know, is there any other board that does this?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Can we find out?
Yeah.
Well, hold on, but Parks and Rec, you guys allow call-ins, right, on the phone or something like that?
Call-ins, if it helps with a quorum, but they're in person. We don't do any Zoom links at all.
Mr. Kozer, if you give me a chance, let me talk to the chairman of the library board so that I understand what they have adopted in terms of their own bylaws.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
because I'd be curious to know, because
Okay.
it doesn't make sense to me why
We
they're.
should probably standardize, whatever we do with one board.
All-
should
Yeah,
probably
the experience should be the same
standardized
on all of
across.
them.
I
Agreed.
mean, we should be the ones setting the policy, not the boards, quite honestly.
Also true.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this
Thank
to our
you.
attention, Mr. McCarthy.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else want to speak on a non-agenda item?
Hi.
How are you doing, Ms. Shaner?
Oh, I'm good. Well, this is just in continuation of observation of our roadways concerning sight distance, okay? How many of you are familiar with Crestview coming onto West McMurray?
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Think so?
familiar?
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Okay. It's not too good, that sight distance to the right, okay? Would you agree?
I'll be honest, I know where it is. I'll be honest, I haven't made that turn in a long time, but
Okay,
driving West McMurray, I can agree with you.
Right.
that- yeah.
Now, I don't have, I have a friend who has a lot of ailments, so I check on them occasionally. So it was on there today. And I would say about a month ago, it was on, coming down Crestview to turn on to West McMurray. And the machine that you have to cut weeds, okay, it had not been there yet. When those weeds are tall, you can't see anything. You're taking your life into your hands there, okay? So I would recommend that machine makes a regular cutting as low as it can go and as far down as it can go, okay? Because I don't think they went far enough. I'm just looking for safety here, okay? Because it is dangerous. You cannot see the cars that are coming up, where that little bridge is and where, it goes from Norster Bain to Peters, yeah. You cannot see what's coming up that road.
It is PennDOT right away, but we've never had any luck getting PennDOT to maintain that, so that we do that periodically ourselves.
Is that a PennDOT road?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna
Yeah.
ask if
Yeah.
it, because it is dangerous.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous, so. if
So what's
those-
our recourse if we want them to do it and they won't do it? Just do it
We
ourselves?
go,
That's
we
it.
go and do it.
That's it.
That's what,
It's like when your
Yeah.
kids won't do the dishes with your recourse. When they sit in the
Yeah,
sink.
I would just say if you could, maybe, if they could, cut it down very low and far enough down the road to make it just a, because you are taking your life into your hands when you're making that turn, okay?
Yep.
All right, that's all I want to say.
Okay, I think we had one more in the back of the room, right?
Michael McCloskey, I live at 805 Churchill Road, which is on the northwest corner of the Churchill and Sugar Camp there. And I'm basically want to talk about the little road that cuts from Churchill down to Sugar Camp.
We talked about that a few weeks ago.
I know, and I know it's in bad shape, you know it's in bad shape. And my understanding is, we're not sure if it's a state road or it's a township
well,
road.
now we're sure.
Because I know I'm sure, I know what it is.
Well, what is it?
It's township road.
It's a township road, that's correct.
Yeah. My opinion is, it should just be shut down. You made it a four-way stop several years ago, which made it much safer at that intersection. But that little road still has caused quite a few accidents because of the transition off of Churchill onto it, and the transition to Sugar Camp is such a, and I mean, it's not the road's fault, it's the drivers going too fast, I agree, but if you just took that out, it would be slow everybody down at that corner and make it, quite a bit safer.
Is there enough distance there if you're coming up Churchill to then make the right down the
I
hill?
do it every day. I don't go down that bumpy road with my cars.
Oh, yeah, there's certainly, at that stop sign, you're stopped, you can make the right-hand turn.
Yeah, I agree. I think we gotta get rid of it.
I know when we bought our property, and that's how I know it's township, is the township took a quarter acre of my land for that road.
What, I'm just curious, when was that? Because, we
Twen-
were researching this, and
we
we do
bought-
see it on your property.
We bought the house in 2002.
Okay.
And it was formerly what was their family name? John Nagy's name was on it, but
Okay.
it was the Love family before
Okay.
that.
Wait, so they took the property in 2002?
No, I would've taken
I was gonna say, that's been there for as long as I remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, the road was there.
Yeah.
But it was on my property.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My
If you-
property line was on,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And
if
so
you look at the plot plan for his property, that is located on there. The thing is, at this point, and I'm not arguing whether we should keep it, not keep it, or otherwise, but it's been there so long, the township would have a prescriptive easement across it, so, but,
yeah, right.
but what I would agree is that it's not necessary to be able to get down Sugar Camp Road.
Well, is it the consensus of council that we abandon it?
I would want
Yeah.
some money.
I think so.
Before what are we gonna do with it?
Well,
Well,
it reverts.
Yeah.
When you abandon it, it just reverts to the previous property owner.
Yeah, but
But-
can
well,
you
that-
give us a chance to study it before you make that
Yeah, I
decision
would-
tonight?
Yeah, I would say,
Because if we-
probably road closed signs for a while, because people are gonna, even if you put guardrail, people have mistaken my driveway for that road at least twice.
Well, see, I'm of the opinion, if we close it, we go in, we dig out the asphalt.
Oh, I tear it out, yeah.
We seed it out so that it's no longer passable. Because you put a road, you put a
Well, I think-
barricade there,
I
somebody's gonna
honestly-
drive through it.
I think that's how it started. I think farmers were cutting down it,
You know.
80 years ago, and then somebody paved it, is how I think that road got there.
Well, yeah, it looks exactly that way. It was a shortcut and then somebody
Yeah.
just paved it.
Exactly.
Easier
So
to take
Paul,
the horse that
you
way
wanna
than
study
it is
this
to
and
go
come
up
back
the
to
road.
us?
I'd like to be able to give Mark a chance to look at it and find out what the path forward is to be able to abandon it.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Who is it? Not Churchill, is Churchill, do we own both roads?
No.
No.
We own neither road.
We neither,
They're both
well, we
state roads.
They're
own,
both state roads.
well, we own Sugar Camp.
Not that point.
No, but if you make a left-hand turn at that intersection, we
Sugar-
own Sugar Camp.
Sugar Camp down
Yeah.
towards tracks.
If you make a
is
right-hand
township.
turn, that's a state road.
So we'll have to involve PennDOT.
Well, no.
No, because PennDOT's told us clearly they don't own that.
No, we just have to
Was it
advertise an
PennDOT who
ordinance
put
that
the
we want to
markers
abandon it.
up? There's stakes that say RW, I'm assuming right away,
I think they
all
went out,
around the triangle there.
because we contacted them and they did some right-of-way research. with
Okay,
their
so
people, and
they're
then
the
went
one
up
that
with
put
some
it.
surveying and came back with a conclusion.
Yeah.
We don't have a right-of-way here, so it's not ours, is what they said.
What they
So,
said,
yeah.
okay.
Well, John, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the process is we have to publish an ordinance, right, and we intend to
There is
abandon
old
it.
statute on abandoning a road. I just was thinking to myself, I don't think you have to go the viewer route or any court route. I think we can do it by ordinance.
Yeah, but I think you have to have a public hearing, I believe. Maybe I remember wrong, but I think you have to have a public hearing in case anybody
Yeah, we-
opposes it.
I tell you, there aren't many roads in this day and age that are abandoned, but the
Yeah.
statute exists, so there's a
Yep.
process.
So let us get the process together. Let's figure out how we're gonna engineer that.
All right.
Sounds
Thank you,
good.
sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to speak on a non-agenda item? All right, we have no unfinished business tonight, so let's get into new business. First item, authorization of the appropriate township official to execute a grant agreement with the Washington County Tourism Promotion Agency.
So Peters Township has allowed individuals to paddle canoes and kayaks on Peters Lake. It's always been a challenge over the years to maintain a safe boat launch. That's the current boat launch that's there. The 2027 Capital Improvement Program actually identifies the installation of an ADA accessible kayak canoe launch at Peters Lake Park, and where it would be ADA accessible, but the fact of the matter is, what it does is provide a safe way for people, for all people to be able to launch a kayak and canoes. And having spent lots of time with teenage boys in canoes and kayaks, something like this is a much better way to actually enter the lake than what we have right now. So the grant's for $20,000, which of course does not cover the entire cost of the project, but additional funds may be available either from gas lease fees or development fees given in lieu of dedicating open space. So if you approve this tonight, it doesn't bind you to undertake the project. The only time you get bound on this project is if in fact the council will choose to award a bid, and that will occur sometime next year. So it's my recommendation that council authorize the appropriate township officials to execute a grant agreement with the Washington County Tourism and Promotion Agency.
So you said that the $20,000 does not cover the full cost. What is the portion
No.
that's not covered?
I think it's-
Well, what's in the budget is an appropriation of $50,000. What the launch that Mr. Brooks has looked at is actually $56,000. I personally don't think, having seen what that launch looks like, that you're gonna need to spend that kind of money, but you're in that vicinity, so.
Well, I mean, I don't see any problem asking for the grant. We don't get it.
One of the great things about this project is I think it will help everyone get in and out of that lake, because if anyone has drug in a canoe in or out of that lake.
Oh, it's
You might
tough
be
for an
disadvantaged.
adult, but if you were taking like scouts down there, that would be a very difficult place to launch.
Yeah,
It's a great idea.
All right, someone want to make a motion?
motion,
Second.
approve.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. 5-0, Mr. Lauer. Next item, ordinance amending the Peters Township Code of Ordinances, Chapter 440, zoning, Section 406.2, mixed residential overlay district.
So.
This is what was discussed in.
That's what we discussed previously. It's my recommendation that we adopt the ordinance number 928, amending the Peters Township zoning ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. 5-0, Mr. Lauer. Next item, discussion concerning political speech signs on Nancy Drive.
Mr. Conley's here.
Hi, my name is Ryan Conley. I was here once before for this same issue. So yeah, just because it's been kind of mischaracterized, this isn't really about the fact that these are political signs. The content of the signs are irrelevant as to why I'm here. So first, I'll just go through the regulations that establish why the sign shouldn't or shouldn't be allowed. And obviously, it's up to the council to interpret the codes and laws and regulations. So, yeah, this, section 440-701, any sign erected, altered, or maintained after the effective date of this chapter shall conform to the following regulations. All these signs were erected after all these regulations were put in place. And then it's section 440-702, where it says the planning director or the designatee shall deem illegal any sign erected in the township that is not permitted, that's not a permitted sign as defined in this part 7, or is erected without a necessary permit. So I don't know the status of these signs or their permits, but this is just laying the groundwork. And yeah, as I said, some of these violations are subjective, but some are just fairly objective. First, we have the definition of what a yard sign is, section 440-703, standalone freestanding sign, which you can scroll through the signs. I don't think any of them are, but this is the closest definition for what, if these signs were legal, to what they would fit on. Standalone freestanding sign on residential property that is no greater than 6 square feet in size, located in the property's front or side yard. These signs are not required to be monument-style freestanding signs. So that's the definition for yard sign, which is concerning pretty much all the ones we'll be talking about today. Next, we have section 440-711.f. This talks about exemptions, which would be relevant here if they were applicable. Residentially zoned properties, single-family dwelling units shall be permitted to have 1 yard sign not to exceed 6 square feet in size and 6 feet in height. That shall be exempt from all permit requirements. So, yeah, if there's more than one that is more than 6 square feet, it only applies to one, and it doesn't override any other further violations that we'll be getting to. Section 440-706.b.1.a, freestanding signs for monument. All permanent freestanding signs in all zoning districts, excluding general commercial and industrial districts, shall be monument-style signs, which none of these are. Yeah, you're free to flip through them. There's a few. Section 440-706.b.2.d. No, this one's not quite relevant, sorry. Oh yeah, so this one, sort of relevant, section 440-704.a.2, general sign regulations and permits. A sign permit shall be required in order to erect, install, relocate, modify, or change any sign within the township unless otherwise indicated in this section. So, and this only applies to signs beyond the one exempt yard sign that I had already outlined. Yeah, now we get into physical and safety. These ones are more subjective, except for maybe one of them. Section 440-704.f.1.e, general sign regulations and locations. No sign shall be placed, erected, or located so that is painted on, attached to, or supported by a tree, stone, cliff, or other natural objects. If you scroll a bit further, you can see they're just nailed to trees. Yeah, like so. Same with the neighbors. Let's see. Section 440-700.a, ensure that signs are designed, constructed, installed, and maintained so that public safety and traffic are not compromised. As you all know, we've had really windy times recently, and yeah, just crudely nailing wooden signs to trees, which objectively isn't allowed in the first place. I don't think meet those standards. But again, that's up to council. Section 440-704.b.1, all signs shall be installed in accordance with good engineering practice, which shall be the responsibility of the sign owner. Signs shall be constructed of durable materials using non-corrosive fastenings, shall be structurally safe, and shall be installed in strict accordance with the Pennsylvania Uniform Construction Code, which I don't think any of these probably are. Section 440-704.f.2. Well, this is how all permanent freestanding signs shall be set back at least 16 feet from the paved cartway, even though these aren't even freestanding signs. I mean, they're just, yeah, they don't fall into any legal definition of signs of any streets in all district unless otherwise approved by the planning director or the designee. So maybe these were already approved, but if you go back to the first image, it's just leaning up against, you know, mailbox that's not 16 feet. Now, some possibly relevant exemptions, because the ordinance does call out some exemptions for political signage. There's section 440-711.g, temporary election signage that is required by state or federal statute to contain any advertising disclaimer are exempt from regulation, except with regard to election signs placed in publicly owned and publicly maintained rights of way. These fit none of them. These aren't official election signs. They're not properly labeled as such. They're not temporary, so they've been nailed up. The message rotated through over the years. So yeah, it meets none of them, but by no stretch does it meet all three. And finally, just for intent, there's section 440-700.c. Encourage a high standard for signs in order to enhance the aesthetic appearance and attractiveness of the community. And further, create an aesthetic environment that contributes to the ability of the community to attract sources of economic development and growth. So this one is obviously more subjective. I don't believe it makes the community more aesthetic and attracts economic growth. Lastly, this one is probably the most important, section 440-700.f, intent. To preserve the rights of individuals and businesses to free speech and expression within a uniform set of regulations without regard to the message content. So, without regard to the message's content, I really don't care what the message's content is. I just would like it to be enforced by the laws and regulations. That's pretty much it.
Now, Mr. Lauer, if these weren't political signs, if these were no trespassing signs, keep out signs, you think we have the right to take, could order them to be taken down, right?
Well,
They say we're the similar.
This is the third instance where we have signs that have caused neighbors to object. And if you recall, there were similar signs on Sugar Camp Road that were, and those were not political signs, and we did not intervene in those cases. There was another set of signs similar to these two sets of signs on, I forget which road coming off of Route 19, and we chose not to intervene on those. And the council's thought at the time was that the First Amendment prerogatives were more important than the sign regulation. The thing that I would caution you is that if you go to enforce these, we need to do that universally, or we'll find ourselves on the back end of a lawsuit. You know, there are two cases out there, Supreme Court cases, that deal with this. One clearly establishes the right to have signs in your front yard. And when you look at that case, it talks about kind of the long history of being able to do so. And it seems to imply that things like handwritten signs aren't a problem. And then the second case gets back to this question about things being content-based. And when they say that, they don't mean just what the language is that's on the sign, but the regulations that you apply to it and when you apply them. So while our ordinance differentiates between political signs that have a disclaimer on the bottom that they're based upon some contribution made to a political campaign, it's not clear to me that if in fact there was a challenge, that those signs are different than other signs. So
Well, and I think
it's council's, it's council's druthers. If you want us to strictly enforce the ordinance and limit people to a single sign, I think we're gonna have a problem come election day.
Well, and I think the Supreme Court's made it clear that political speech has a heightened level of protection.
Correct.
And, regardless of whether you agree with what the sign says or not, I think if we get in a position where we start regulating political speech, I think you're exactly right. I think we're gonna get ourselves in a position where we get sued.
Yeah, and a lot of these ordinance provisions predated the town of Gilbert case from the U.S. Supreme Court, where they basically said, hey, all these types of political signs are gonna be protected. And council's pretty much adhered to that. From some of the issues that Mr. Lauer brought up over the years, Peters Township has made sure that the First Amendment rights, even though there may be unsightly issues or I mean, there's some targeted signs at people and each other. We've had people, clamor to take signs down, and we've pretty much held true to that. And it can get frustrating, but, from a First Amendment standpoint, and from, I think, most of the scholars since the Gilbert case, I think in 2015, have found these types of signs are likely protected speech. Again, political speech, I think the point Mr. Kozer was trying to make, that different types of sign would have a lower protection. These types of sign have a heightened protection.
Ms. Shaner, you look like you're gonna fall out of your chair, so come on up.
No, I just want to say, our ordinance says it has to be 6 square feet, okay? And 1. Doesn't say anything about multiple, so I think you can enforce that they shouldn't have multiple signs in their yard.
Look, we used to universally say time, place, and manner restrictions were enforceable. If we treated every sign the same, content neutral based signs, that we said you can only have it at this time or at this place, any kind of speech, and at this manner, that's how our ordinances read. So we believe our ordinance are consistent with our interpretation. There's just been a broader view of First Amendment protection since our ordinance. And we're not the only municipality that have to deal with that.
I agree, you should allow the political signs, okay? I'm saying, I thought our ordinance said you can put 1 6 square foot sign.
There are certain.
I am somebody who puts signs up, okay? I'll admit it. You all know that.
You
You
should
go
be the
past.
last person to be talking about cutting down a number of signs.
That's why I'm saying, I adhere to the rule, it's 1.
Yeah, we do it all the time, and Mr. Holdren can speak to that. We have variances where people want to enlarge their signs on their buildings and things like that. So there are sign ordinances. We have billboard ordinances. These are just falling into a different category.
And look, and we have to follow what the U.S. Supreme Court says, because the U.S. Supreme Court says political speech has a heightened level of protection.
Even if they're multiple?
Absolutely.
You can't.
We can't regulate them.
Well, then there I go, I guess I can put.
And just to be clear,
You already
Mr.
have
Shaner,
more than one sign.
that was done by the U.S. What year was that case? 2010, 2015.
I have 100 I can put up, all right?
And I'll just point out, the Democrats were in power when that decision was made, Mr. Shaner.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Sir, you have the floor.
I'm here to settle the confusion of these signs. These signs was erected because my next door neighbor put up signs, F Trump, F you if you vote for Trump. And the sign in the backyard still has that sign. It says Buck Trump. This was a retaliation for me. These signs are put up because every day I come out in my yard, I get to listen to a person screaming F Trump. I came to the township and asked them to come to my home, and if I was told to take the signs down, no problem, I take the signs down. I wasn't told to take this. Are these signs? I said, what is the problem with these signs? He says, that square footage, whatever, but he had that wrong anyhow. I said, okay, I object to it, but I'll take this big sign down. I had a Trump sign that I'll fight with anybody for that said Trump fights. The sign was put up after he got shot. And on the sign, I put fight, Trump, and I thought it was so important that a small sign was not good enough or not, that the sign was important. But these signs are up. I came to the township, the person came, all he had to say to me, take the signs down, the signs would have been done. This would not have occurred at all. The only issue I was told it was the size of the sign. So I'm here to say, didn't need all this stuff. I contacted the township to come to my house. And he says, take your signs down, the signs would have been done. I object to it. I'm a good friend of Donald Trump Jr. I'm a MAGA Republican, and at the present time, my neighbor has a sign on the side yard that had said F Trump. Well, the sign was up, he showed it. There's her sign, stop. But in the backyard, the sign said F Trump and F you if you voted for Trump. She painted the F into a B that says Buck Trump, no such word, Buck Trump. And this sign is located in the backyard
whereas I looked at the ordinances, it said no signs permitted in the backyard, side yard, front yard. I'm not here to argue about my signs. I've been living here for 30 years. I was a policeman. I'm good friends with the Trump family. I could go on about a lot of politics. I was in law enforcement for 30 years. I don't know, not 30 years. I retired 30 years ago from law enforcement, and I brought the township to my house. All they had to say to me, take your signs down. The signs were done, problem semi-sign. But I had a couple issues, and my issues was, how many signs are the other people allowed to put up? The other issue was, how close to my property can you put a sign? And I said, you can't put a sign right at the edge of my driveway that says F Trump or whatever campaign sign. I said, I said, what is the rule for how many feet from the edge of my driveway? Because well, you can't disagree with council. Well, I said, I disagree, because people think that's my sign. My neighbor said, Howard, why did you put an F sign at the edge of your driveway? In addition to the F sign, there are 7 children who live in the neighborhood. It took the neighbor across the street to come over and say, my children, I'm looking at that sign, take that sign down or I'll take it down. So the person put the sign in the backyard, changed what I told you from F to B, which I'm totally opposed to. I don't care about her other signs whatsoever. But I came to the township, like I said, and I had 3 questions. How many signs? How close to my property? And how long are you allowed to put these signs up? And I totally object to anybody putting up filthy signs. I had a lot more. Here, I wrote, no, I didn't bring it, I wrote 50 pages of stuff because I was so damn mad about what happened here. And, you know, I bodyguarded Clinton, I bodyguarded Bush Sr., and we became friends. I've been invited to the White House. I've been invited, just a lot of my career was dealing with presidents. And, you know, she knows I get fired up, and I am fired up. And this individual is here for one reason, because I made a complaint against him to the township. So I don't care. All you had to do was come to me, take the sign. No, I came to you. You want me to take these? No, long as they're this size. I says, well, this is the President of the United States, and if my Trump sign is too big, it's wrong. And I did it after he was shot. And I said, I object to it because I think it should be a sign that everybody should put up. Thank you for, I'm sorry, I get worked up.
You're fine, sir.
Not at all.
Thank you for speaking.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, based on,
Wait,
oh, you got one more?
well, I'm the neighbor. I'm the lunatic that so, I live next door, and in 2016, he
Oh,
started.
we need your name and
Oops, sorry.
address.
My name is Mary Hay. I live 91 Nancy Drive. I have lived here since 2008. In 2016, signs for supporting Trump, which is fine, went up. No problem with that. I'm a registered Republican. In 2021, after Trump lost, a sign went up hanging from the trees with rope. A large sign, way larger than the one that's there, and it said, "Hang Biden." And at this point, I'm not a Biden fan, but the "Hang Biden," yes, it was hanging from the tree.
We're not gonna do this back and forth, just speak to
I
us,
called
please.
the township after 3 months of it and asked at this point if it could be taken down, and they said, no, it's free protected speech. And I'm like, okay. So I did not put up any signs, I dealt with it, but as things progressed, last March, I had a delivery person who was of ethnic, and they were scared to come deliver. They said your whole street, because of, he's had plenty of signs. There's been signs up, corrupt DOJ, military 16, or Biden killed 6 soldiers in, you know, with the pullout in Afghanistan. But anyway, there have been signs up for Trump, which is fine. He has a sticker on his car. We know he's a Trump fan, that's fine. But when the gentleman who was a minority came and he said he was scared to deliver because he assumed it was the whole street. And that hurt, because he doesn't represent everybody on our street. We're a dead-end street. We have 8 houses. We don't have a lot of traffic. The only people who come back there for a reason. Or this gentleman who walks his dog, who lives at the corner. So I put up signs. There is for one day in the front, and I did change it because I read the rules. Just like the Biden had bad sides towards him, I bought a F Trump sign and I changed it to Buck. It was up one day in the front of one day, June 14th of last year. It was then moved to the side yard. It is not in the back, it is the side yard, because at this point, as soon as I put up my signs saying stop Trump or democracy dies in silence, all the signs that said a lunatic were put up. There was Trump love the Army, which is direct because my son's in the Army. Doge, MAGA loves Doge. They were all put up and they're facing my house. So I reciprocated with the Buck, which is not a swear word, because I read no profanity. I mean, so I understand. I'm fine taking them down if I'm required to take them down. But I don't want, as I'm sitting here, we weren't going to say anything. I mean, I've saved this gentleman's life when he fell out of a tree. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is he can't be the only one who's allowed to speak to represent our street and our community. And I'm protecting my spaces, which is what I was told by an activist, a minority activist, that, you know, white people need to stand up and protect their space, and so that's what I'm doing.
Well, based on the research that, wait, you coming up. But I mean, based on the research that we've gotten from Mr. Smith, I think it's clear that even if there was a appetite on this council to do anything about these signs, our hands are tied.
The only thing that both of you seem, in your own way, very reasonable about recognizing what's going on to other people in the community that maybe don't want to look at this. And maybe I heard it wrong, but it seems like you both be willing to maybe lay these down if each other laid these down. I mean, not that we can, you know, assist in that process, but maybe there's in our ordinance, we have a political season where we have the signs that go up and the signs that come down, and the people up here on council abide by that. And, you know, to the extent there's any piece that can be made from a time standpoint, you may want to consider that. But it's hard for us to really weigh in on that. But we do recognize, sir, that having to look at things like this, whether you're for or against or just indifferent, just signs as pollution, we get it. It's just we don't have a lot of recourse here.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Carol Ortenzo, 218 George Drive. I canvass this area, and I can tell you that people on streets outside of that have told me that they are afraid to put up political signs because of the signs that are at that address. So I realize that you have, you know, you maybe have no recourse, but I just wanted to state that for the record, that it is intimidating to the community. And honestly, I can't imagine that that does anything for the property value of that cul-de-sac. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to speak on this?
Well, I just want to say one more thing.
Sure, Ms. Shaner. Just come up to the microphone because we have to have you on the...
1, 2, 3, Robin. You know, seriously, I put signs up, all right? So I am with you on your right to put signs up. But, so you did that sign? That's your sign right there?
So hang on a second. Why?
Well, why didn't you make it look nice?
We're not going to lecture each other here, guys.
Ms. Shaner.
This is not.
Okay, come on. We're not going to...
This is not an argument we're going to have with each other here, please.
You guys can discuss this. Okay.
Okay,
Ms. Shaner.
That's a matter of opinion.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, Ms. Shaner, okay? All right, so...
Sounds like you both want to take them down. You just shake hands and take all the signs down on your own accord.
Well, I'll never shake
But we
the
can't.
hands, but I would gladly take all my signs.
All right, well,
We
then
can't
you
compel
guys
it.
work that out amongst yourselves
Yeah.
because we're not in a position to compel anybody to do anything. So
Correct.
you need a motion In that regard, Mr.
Could I
Lauer.
respond before?
Sure, go ahead.
the motion? Sure. So, I mean, just to reiterate, because it seems that immediately the inflammatory content of these signs is getting to everyone. I don't care what the content is. That's not the issue.
Oh, look, we understand where you're coming from, you know. and
That's
if-
good news.
If the United States Supreme Court had not said that our hands were tied, maybe there's some sort of sentiment up here to control the number of signs people put in their yards, but.
Yeah.
And I would argue if this were like somebody was putting up keep out signs and stay out and that stuff, there's probably a sentiment up here to maybe do something to get them down, but
So then.
no one on this board wants to see this township get sued over this.
Sure, that makes sense.
Because-
And I know Peters Township is below the Supreme Court, obviously, but it does specifically call out this use case of to preserve the rights of individuals and businesses to free speech and expression within a uniform set of regulations without regard to the message's content. So does this mean I can hang up any signs I want that break every single regulation as long as I put political speech on them?
I mean, it's tough for us to weigh in on political speech since that case. So obviously, we don't encourage it. The majority of the township residents, abide by the ordinance. There's a time in the political season where you see signs ad nauseum, and then that goes away. And we would hope that people would, follow that as well. But it is hard for us to police that right now. But we do look at things on a case-by-case basis, and if there's some reason, like we looked at these, as whether we could do anything, and it appears that we could.
Okay, so, but we are in agreement that there are some objective violations, like not being 16 feet back, how they need to be freestanding, nailed directly to trees.
Well, again, when
So-
you see in the political season, the signs,
Yeah.
they all are in that category, right? Almost, not all of them, but a lot of them fall within that. Can't people kind of put a sign in your yard and it's right on the road? It's right.
And then people put up those 4x8s now, and those, 8x16 billboards, some people
Big
put up in
ones,
front
yeah.
yards now.
So
Yeah.
I think the correct summary would be that any sign is allowed if it has political speech on it, because it would be too.
Well, there are some, we've looked at some in the past to see there are protections that aren't afforded in the First Amendment for fighting words, whether they're going to incite some sort of response from somebody. So those are things we would look at, because I know we've looked at that at the township during one of the campaigns. There were some negative signs out there that may have crossed the line, but we didn't feel as though they reached the level of fighting words that we could police them. So
Like lunacy
we can't give a blanket, this is protected speech or not until we see it.
Okay, I mean, that's great news for me. Like I said, I don't care about the content. I just don't want to look like I live next to that. But yeah, now I know what I can do as well. So it's very informative. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I say one thing?
Sure, why not?
No, please.
Come on up.
You're right.
You can get.
Everyone gets a
last
chance
word.
to speak.
Yeah, I'm a last word person. I'm Judith Ball, and I live at 93 Nancy Drive. One of the main reasons that we're having this thing back and forth is because of Trump being shot. Up until that point, the signs went up, they went down, they went up, they went down, whatever. Next door actually had their flag upside down, and that really, when I tell you, pushed him over the edge, it was terrible. And by the same token, we have maybe 2 new houses that were both over $1 million. So those signs are not hurting that. And I don't remember the other thing, but it's more than 2, whatever, sorry. I just want you to know we're not totally nuts,
No, we appreciate that,
just a
ma'am.
little.
Okay, next item, appointment to the Peters Township Environmental Quality Board. Once again, we were impressed with all 4 applicants that we interviewed this evening. Someone want to make a motion?
Yeah, it was a difficult decision, but I'm gonna move to appoint Katie Hanna to the Environmental Quality Board.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
So that will be for a term that expires on January 1st, 2029.
5-0, Mr. Lauer. Next item, award of a contract under the CoStar's Cooperative Purchasing Program for heavy vest plates and carriers for use by police officers.
So the 2026 budget includes an appropriation of $40,000 within the equitable share fund for the purchase of police officers' personal protective equipment in the form of heavy vest plates and carriers. This purchase will be replacing plates and carriers that are over 10 years old. Included in the docket is a quotation from Markle Supply Company in the amount of $38,506.60. It's my recommendation that council award a contract to Markle Supply Company under the CoStars program for the purchase of heavy vest plates and carriers in the amount of $38,506.60.
So moved.
Right. Anything you want to say, Chief? Because you sat here for an hour and a half, so I mean, anything you want to add?
I don't need to add if you're gonna.
Okay. We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Thank you.
5-0, Mr. Lauer. Thank you, Chief. Next item, authorization to install ALPR automated license plate recognition systems at the intersection of Washington Road and Donaldson's Crossroads Shopping Center.
So Peters Township Council has authorized the use of automatic license plate recognition technology, both in police vehicles and major road intersections. And this has proven to be an indispensable asset for criminal investigations and traffic enforcement. As initially envisioned, cameras are currently installed at signalized intersections along public highways. We currently have a request from TJ Maxx to install cameras at the intersection of Route 19 and the private driveway to the shopping center. This request arises out of a concern for ongoing retail theft from the store. If this were at the intersection of two public roads, I probably would not have brought this to council. But we have not, in the past, put this at the intersection of a private driveway. And I know there's been a lot of talk in the papers about automated license plate readers. And I just want to make sure that if we're going to go ahead with this project, that this is something that council is comfortable with.
Is there one of these down at the intersection where Crosswinds comes down to 19?
There's not.
So if there was a connection between the two shopping centers, in theory, then the right people
that would,
rip
I
off
didn't see
Giant
that
Eagle
coming.
and TJ Maxx may go out that way, and that camera down there,
Yeah.
and it would be in a public intersection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just pointing that out.
And again, TJ Maxx and Giant Eagle feel strongly enough about this that they're willing to cover the cost of the installation of the cameras. The only thing I would suggest to you that if in fact you're gonna go ahead with it, I would make sure that TJ Maxx and Giant Eagle cover the cost of the ongoing maintenance of it as well.
What if they agree to us covering the cost of connection and we can agree to the cost sharing of this? We've been asking them for years to
If-
connect these two,
If they would,
right?
if they would
And
connect the two of these, I think we should put the cameras up at no cost to them. Because,
Look, right, they're losing revenue, they wanna be able to recover it, part of that goes back to the developer that owns the shopping center, right? We need easement of traffic on 19, and it's a small gesture they can make that could,
Yeah,
they're asking us, and
very
we're
good
saying, hey,
idea.
be a good part of the public and do this thing that we've been asking for years that you've ignored us. It's a 10-foot piece of property that would alleviate.
Meet us in the middle. I think it's fair.
I agree. Because for no other reason, if we were to agree to this request, 2 months from now, somebody else comes around and makes this request, and we're gonna have all these cameras coming off private roads. And I mean, this is exactly right. I mean, there's no reason that connection shouldn't be there. And if they agree to that connection, we'll put the camera at Crosswinds and 19, and there you go.
And they're covered on both sides.
No, I'm not gonna close that entrance.
I'm not sure that addresses their concern, but.
If I can, so one of the benefits for that specific one right there is, first of all, TJ Maxx has already ponied up 10 grand towards this. Giant Eagle has offered to pay another $5,000. It's a $14,000 installation. So we have $1,000 to play with. But what happens is, we have a theft at TJ Maxx or any one of those stores. We've been very lucky in that people will go out the upper entrance off of, onto East McMurray Road, go either way, you're gonna eventually hit an LPR, right? If you come out of here and you go south or you go north, you're gonna hit an LPR.
Well, yeah.
If you cross over, hit Dam Road, and then go McDowell, we don't ever see that car.
What if you go behind Sola and up out that way, you would not see anything either, right?
Well, if you continue on East McMurray Road, you'll eventually get to one, yes. But if you go down McDowell, they're gone.
I would think if I'm robbing Giant Eagle or TJ Maxx, that's the last intersection I'm going to, because I'm gonna be sitting at the light there forever, you know?
I don't know.
That's what I would think.
Work with the best and brightest.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, that's like the least, that's the slowest way to get out.
But to their point, this is uncovered essentially, and so
It's
by having
uncovered.
cameras there, you're covered
Yes.
on all sides in
Yes.
theory.
Now, if I may, I mean, we have 100 calls for service in that entire area every year. And we have 30 to 60 retail thefts out of there every year. Now, there are a lot more of those that occur. TJ Maxx has been very, very good about providing video. There's also a lot of video in the parking lot, but we can tell what car they get in. We can't tell what the license plate of that vehicle is. So whenever we can tell it's a red sedan. Well, then we can start looking at LPRs and go through those and find red sedans that match up time-wise. But if they come out of there, hit Dam Road, or even if they go south and make the right onto McDowell, they're gone. We don't then get them. So that's our main crux as to why we would want cameras at this intersection. I would love to have one at Crosswinds and 19 as well. And I would think that eventually that will be on the list. But right now, because this one is basically, at least the installation is covered.
And this is the higher
that's-
priority spot anyway from your perspective.
It is, because there's TJ Maxx across southwestern Pennsylvania is a target. And some of them get hit even harder than we do. I think part of the reason we don't get hit as hard is because we're very successful in prosecuting these people. Because we have the LPR coverage north-south.
Sure.
So, but anyway, that's my 2 cents. I appreciate you listening.
Makes sense.
Chief, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Come up, Ms. Shaner.
Well, yeah, hey, listen, we have been wanting that, interconnected.
And we agree.
Yeah, so I think can't we just approach it? Can't we say, okay, we'll give you that, you
I
get,
think,
you
yeah.
know?
I think that's what we're already
we-
saying.
We've wanted that since
You gonna
19
do it? I mean, you gonna put,
I think so. I'm gonna make a motion that we table this.
okay, cause
And
I
I-
think
yeah.
no, this is what we've wanted, so
No,
you
I
have
agree.
to do something. You have to at least bring it up.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we're
Yeah.
saying.
I'm moving to, I'm gonna make a motion to table this decision and direct the township manager to approach the two businesses, Giant Eagle and TJ Maxx, and let them know that we'd be willing to pursue this installation, but we would like to see the connection that we've wanted for, 30 years?
Or
More-
even look into the Crosswinds one, right?
Right, yeah, and we'll
Yeah,
look
if they're gonna
Show
cover
how
the cost
committed
there, we can
we
put one
are.
down in.
Yeah, no, if they'll agree the connection, I'll support the camera at Crosswinds too. And then we cover every
We
intersection.
pay for it.
So.
All right,
That's
Yeah.
where we are.
Stagle made a motion, do I get a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Hey,
4-1, Mr. Lauer.
from the standpoint that Giant Eagle and TJ Maxx are not the parties that would be responsible for reaching that agreement.
Except that from what I understand, Giant Eagle's the one that is the reason that the connection doesn't go through. But
No, that was not the case.
that's, guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see.
Next item, approval of the Turkeyfoot Road Development Preliminary Plan as shown on drawings prepared by Keystone Surveying and Mapping, Inc., dated April 30th, 2026 for Burning Tree LLC. Welcome back, Councilman Emeritus Ross. As you can see, being a councilman didn't help you move up the agenda order at all.
No favoritism.
On March 10th, Matt Rouse, on behalf of Burning Tree LLC, submitted a preliminary subdivision plan for the Turkeyfoot Road development. Council must take action on this plan before July 11th of this year. The proposed plan is at the intersection of Turkeyfoot Road and McClellan Road. The plan proposes to create 15 single-family lots on a 13.24 acre parcel of land. 4 of the lots have direct access to McClellan Road. The remaining 11 are on a new street off of Turkeyfoot Road. The plan was reviewed by the Planning Commission on May 14th, and it was decided by unanimous vote that the plan should be approved with a series of conditions. Those conditions are in your docket. There is, well, in addition to those conditions, what I'm recommending is that, subject to the approval of the township solicitor, that a note be placed on the recorded plan providing notice that, that these lots are adjacent to an agricultural operation and is subject to protections under the Pennsylvania Right to Farm Act and the Acre Act, and that a similar notice also be placed in the deeds of each of the properties. So there is an outstanding question on the plan, and that has to do with whether or not the township would prefer to see 1.06 acres of open land dedicated, or that a fee in lieu of that. The Planning Commission does not recommend the provision of the fee in place of open space. But from staff's perspective, we are never crazy about taking over small areas of land that serve no real purpose. And in this case, where you're only talking about 1 acre of land, it's going to be a maintenance problem for the township, because as I understand this, there is not proposed to be a homeowners association here.
Well, then I don't think we want the open space. We've got enough grass to mow.
Yeah, we believe that, we haven't done a fee in lieu of open space for some time, but I think what you're looking at is a fee that's in the, that is approximately $90,000 an acre.
Where would the open space be here, Paul, if we took it?
Mr. Rouse is gonna tell us that.
My name's Alberto Harkeen from Gateway Engineers. Do you have the PDF that shows the rendering or no?
Which I do not have that.
Yeah, so this kind of shows you an easier illustration of the
You can
development.
put that right on that table there.
Yeah.
No, on the table.
On the red table.
On the red
Play
table.
it flat and the camera will pick it up.
See how technology works this way.
He'll adjust to you.
I don't know about that.
Flip it around. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know how do you, here.
Can we zoom out?
Well, this portion here is
There we
the, is the cul-de-sac road. This would be a new road off of Turkeyfoot Road.
Okay.
And coming through here, you would get 11 lots out of here. So if you were to do an open space area, you'd probably lose 2 of these lots here to create an acre. These are half-acre parcels right here that you see minimum.
And those other 4 lots, are those off of McClellan Road then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so those other 4 lots are off McClellan Road.
All half acres lot?
Half acre, those have been screened for site distance, make sure we have adequate site distance. Yep, so you would have 4 frontage lots off of McClellan and then the 11 off of Turkeyfoot with the new cul-de-sac road.
Yeah, I mean, what purpose would that open space serve for us?
We have almost this exact situation up on Scott Lane where we own,
That
in
lot.
essence, a lot. And it doesn't serve a public purpose, and it only creates something that needs to be maintained.
And the kids in the neighborhood play
Yeah.
volleyball, and at least we did when we were, my friends did when we were in high school,
Yeah.
but anyway. Yeah,
The
I mean,
other thing that the
don't think
planning commission is recommending is that on the street that's being created, that it have sidewalks on both sides. Their plan doesn't show that yet.
I mean, I think we take the fee in lieu of the open space. Was there any other issue, Paul?
Well, like I said, the other thing that the planning commission is recommending that does not show on the plan is that there be sidewalks on both sides of the cul-de-sac.
On the 600-foot cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Right
Do we
now,
have any other plans that have sidewalks on both sides of a cul-de-sac like that?
Certainly in the conservation residential district, you would. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. Actually, probably in Harvest Fields, I think it is. Harvest.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems, It's such a small
It's-
street,
it's
and
a
where are you
short-
walking to?
It's a short street
Walking to
that
the
will
mailbox.
not be extended.
Right.
And the reason why it has a permanent cul-de-sac instead of a temporary cul-de-sac is it sits on the Union Township line. And our concern was what happens
Yeah.
to the zoning on the other side of that. So, from a staff perspective, we didn't think that the sidewalks were necessary.
I don't
The
see why
planning
you need it,
commission-
because the only people that are gonna be walking around in there are the
Or
people that live
in
there.
that cul-de-sac.
Well, aren't they all walking to the mailbox though?
Well, you're gonna walk down the driveway, right?
Yeah, we did show a sidewalk. There are 2 parking spots in a sidewalk along that area where the mailbox cluster would be.
Yeah.
And that could also be served as an area for students to wait for the bus. But we did not provide, we figured people here would just walk around the street, dead end street.
I'm kind of with the planning commission on the sidewalks myself. I think that that's a safety issue, and I'd like to see that personally.
You got 11 houses, so you figure at worst case, 3 cars per house, that's 33 cars, so how many trips a day is that, right? I mean, to me, I don't know, it just seems like a waste to put them in on that, for that small of a neighborhood. What is it, Frank? Gary?
I mean, I'm in a neighborhood much longer cul-de-sac, and I'm glad we don't have them.
John B?
Are we talking about sidewalks?
Yeah.
I mean, I think sidewalks have a purpose, but more in neighborhoods where you can have through traffic. I mean, this street isn't long enough where, you're gonna have people drag racing or whatever, that, you gotta worry about the kids getting run over. Would they look nice?
My kids
Sure.
better walking the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I'm not connected to the sidewalk. Can we just really cover real quick? Can you explain to me the fee in lieu of open space real quick? We're not gonna acquire any property.
Right, we're gonna take the fee, which was how much again, Paul?
I believe it'd be $90,000.
So it's $90,000 in our pocket versus an acre of grass that we can't use and
Yeah.
we gotta
And-
keep mowed.
And that $90,000 is required to be used for recreational improvements elsewhere in the community.
And all the lots in here at least have.
Yeah, that's like Gary says, there's your boat ramp.
Yeah, all the lots are at least half.
All right, somebody wanna make a motion?
One thing that I do want to point out, one of the things that, the way this is designed, and this is in line with the ordinance, where that stormwater pond is, it's actually located in easements that are on those individual properties. And then in addition to that, there is in front of the pond, between the pond and the lot, there is a storm sewer line that runs there. And the only reason I point this out is that those lots on the plan look large. The reality is, there's,
The buildable area is a lot smaller.
the buildable area is a lot smaller. And unlike others where you have people coming in requesting variances, there is no possibility for a variance because you can't build over top of the easement for the storm sewer or the pond. And again, those lots conform to the ordinance. I just think it's important that you know that.
Who's responsible for the maintenance of that?
Are we gonna end up with that pond, or is,
I think
if
we're
there's
gonna
no
end up with
HOA?
a pond because there's not a homeowners association. But the maintenance of the landscaping around the pond is going to be with the homeowner.
Is there
But
gonna be,
what
is there
we're
gonna
gonna
be
do
a
is
note
make-
on, not to interrupt you, is there gonna be a note on the plan that says that? So we don't have the same issue that we had in Tuscany?
Yeah, certainly add it.
Yeah.
There'd be a note you can add when you make a motion, but the maintenance of the pond itself will be the townships.
Yeah, and even through the middle of the site, there's a pipeline coming through here. So even some of this area here, it's part of the lot, but
Yeah.
it's an easement that,
Yeah.
it's there forever and ever.
Is there gonna be something written that shows that we have the right to access and enter without?
Well, there's an easement that,
There's an access.
Yeah.
We did an access road through here.
Yeah.
You get through here.
Come on up. Everybody's speaking tonight, so.
Everyone's speaking tonight. Hi, Chris Todd, 801 Ashwood. For what it's worth, sightlines notwithstanding for the 4 properties from McClellan Road,
right about where the two driveways from 14 and 15, there's currently a utility pole that's twice been destroyed in the last 3 years, including 2 weeks ago, because of speeding on McClellan and people come around the curve that way. And we were out of power about 2 weeks ago because that was the second time somebody bashed the utility pole there. So A, I don't know where the utility poles are going, but B, line of sight, regardless, that's a speedy road, unfortunately. McClellan's quite narrow, and on the opposite side of McClellan, you have to resurface it about every other year because all the overhanging trees destroy the asphalt in that area. So that's, and then, you know, you have the bend around a Turkeyfoot that comes down a rather steep slope and everything. So I don't know, it seems a challenging area to add additional homes, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that the sight lines might be okay, but the speeding on that road, and there's some evidence that it's been problematic in recent years. So.
Yeah, as far as the site distance, the traffic engineer did require the actual speeds measured out there, not just the design speed. Design's 25, but I believe the actual is 34, 39, and that's how we base the site distance off of. The actual speeds that we measured out there. I mean, if somebody's going 60, we didn't measure that, but the average speed going through there, that's what we designed it off of, based on TPD's requirement.
Is that where all the fire engines and police were up there however long ago it was? A week or two ago? On
I don't
McClellan
know
Road at nighttime?
Yes.
That's why they were up there, for that, for them, someone taking out the pole?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we approve the Turkeyfoot Road Development Preliminary Plan as shown on drawings prepared by Keystone Surveying and Mapping, Inc., dated April 30th, 2026 for Burning Tree LLC, subject to the conditions set forth by the Planning Commission, the additional conditions set forth by the Township Manager, with the understanding that we will take the fee in lieu of open space, and there will be no sidewalks in the plan, and there will be a note added to the plan specifically stating that what are those three lot numbers?
1, 2, and 3.
Lots number 1, 2, and 3 are subject to an easement for the retention pond, and that deeds of conveyance for the homes on lots 1, 2, and 3 will specifically state that those lots are subject to the easement for the retention pond.
And that they'll be
Bravo.
and they'll be responsible for the maintenance of the landscaping, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll add that as well.
Well done.
Yeah. Well done.
I'm trying to make sure we don't deal with
No, that
Tuscany
was-
again, okay?
That's accurate. That's very well done.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. 5-0, Mr. Lauer. Next item, authorization for the appropriate township official to execute a subdivision improvement agreement between Peters Township and 339 Just About Land Company LLC for the Newcastle Final Subdivision Plan.
Mr. Coase, we're gonna ask that council table this. This today, we've got in a revised final plan. That final plan needs to go through the process of approval prior to the execution of this subdivision improvement.
All right, you need a motion to table?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. 5-0, Mr. Lauer. Payroll and bills in Ms. Shanafelt's absence. I've reviewed the payroll and bills. I find everything to be in order. I move they be approved as submitted. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. 5-0, Mr. Lauer. Any correspondence we need to discuss?
No.
Anybody want to discuss any of the board or committee meeting minutes? Okay, miscellaneous, zoning hearing board.
I'd like to actually, if we could, Mr. Smith would like to talk to you about that in executive session.
Okay, next is the road tour.
Question is, do we want to have a road tour this year? And if we do, when would you like to do that? And if you have items that you would like to be included on the road tour, you
Well, I
can
think
let me
we-
know. So
I'm an advocate for having one.
I'm only doing it if Kyle's driving the bus.
we'll
Kyle
guarantee
driving the
that.
bus again this year? All right.
What
So-
is a road tour?
We go around the township looking at the roads that need fixed.
Yeah.
Various other things.
Well,
It's highlighted being on council.
How many weeks is it?
but,
Believe it or not, we get it done in 3 hours.
what has worked well in the last couple of years is actually doing it on a Monday in the evening. I think we went out like at 6 o'clock. So July 20th is one possibility. August 3rd.
I can't do
17th.
August 3rd.
I can't do July
I'm on
28th.
vacation that week too, the August 3rd.
August 17th?
So do the 20th.
I think I can do August 17th.
Yeah, I can do August 17th.
And again, if you have items that you would like us, you would like to look at, we'll put together an itinerary ourselves, so.
17th, what you said?
Yep. And we'll start that, we started last year on 5:30.
And I think we started actually at 6 o'clock. Let me check when dusk is at that
Yeah.
point.
I have a question. Do we used to not have our meetings the same night as the school board?
No,
They've
we've always been.
It's always been the same night?
Yeah, we've always been the second or fourth Monday, they've always been that.
They need to move.
Okay, next thing, council workshop.
Well, the only reason I have that on there is for two items. One is Rolling Hills Phase 2, and whether or not council wishes to have a workshop to discuss that. The reason I need some direction is that we have two projects that are sitting out there. The new fire truck that's coming in and the bridge down on Oakwood, both of which may need financing. And if we're going to do the Rolling Hills project, we would incorporate that into a bond issue needed to do that project. So, I don't know what the process is by which council can give us direction as to whether or not we intend to proceed with that project.
Well, given that John and John weren't on council when we last discussed that, we probably should have a workshop on it before we vote.
I think that's fair.
Okay. So, when would you like to set that up?
Are we married on Monday nights?
I'm not.
So why don't you send some dates around
Okay.
for next month? And don't,
We're missing somebody too.
yeah, because we're missing two tonight
Right.
too, so we
Okay.
can find a date. in July that
Maybe
works
a
for everybody.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, Tuesday, whatever.
Okay.
All right.
I'll
Any-
send some dates around.
Anything anybody wants to see on the next agenda? Anybody got anything else for the good of the order? We do have an executive session tonight. We are adjourned.